Daniel, don't
Who do you
disrespect
think you
me.
are?
Daniel, don't disrespect me, can't put that straight on your face.
No, fellas. Hey,
No, don't disrespect me on my life.
With the announcement of the much-awaited Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois fight, boxing pros have given their predictions that will keep you hooked to your screens. This bout, which has been considered for a long time, especially after Dubois beat Filip Hrgovic in the 5v5 Matchroom vs. Queensberry event, is now finalized by none other than His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh to take place on 21st September 2024 at Wembley Stadium in London. According to Al-Sheikh, this will be one of the biggest and most historic events in boxing history. Announcing this fight, he tweeted, "A historic night awaits. The Riyadh season card between the British boxers Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois will be held at Wembley Stadium in London on September 21st, 2024. Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua's promoter, also seems quite excited about this legendary fight, calling it the biggest night in British boxing, as not only this is the first time that Riyadh season is getting hosted in London, but also because this fight is between the biggest names in the heavyweight league.
Prior to the 5v5, the Hrgovic fight was an option, and I always said if this fight can be for the world heavyweight title, then we'll fight Daniel Dubois. AJ will fight anybody. Now you've got two Brits, the world heavyweight title, 100,000 people, Riyadh season card, the undercard off the charts, September 21st, massive, massive day and night for British boxing.
Recently, after the announcement made by Alexander Usyk regarding him vacating his IBF title, overnight it was declared that now Daniel Dubois would be the new IBF champion, causing more hype around this upcoming bout with Anthony Joshua. Eddie, when questioned about his views of the fight regarding this development, appeared thrilled with the idea of Joshua having the IBF heavyweight belt, with the prospect of him going to become the undisputed world champion. He stated, "I love it because AJ gets the dethroner champion when he becomes a three-time world heavyweight champion. Every one of his victories would have been against the world heavyweight champion. Not a vacant belt, not anything like that." He further added, "So that's important, and you know, for me, I've always believed that he will become undisputed champion, and this is the step before that. If he wins this fight, he will fight for the undisputed world heavyweight championship, I have no doubt." On the other hand, we have Frank Warren, who is Dubois' promoter and biggest supporter, and is also confident in his fighter's ability to beat Joshua. Warren stated that he is pleased by this card and is proud of the success that Dubois has achieved at just 26. Frank said, "I'm delighted at what Daniel's achieved. I suppose from my ego point of view, I've always believed in him, believed he could do this, and he's done it, he's won, and he's now a world champion. All he's got to do now is to hold on to it on the 21st of September, in a tough fight." Talking about the match with Joshua, Frank has emphasized countless times that Dubois will have the upper hand in this fight, and Joshua will be the one who faces the most trouble. He then stated that Daniel had grown and has gained more experience, which would aid him in fighting someone like Anthony, despite people still undermining him.
It's going to put a lot of pressure. The pressure on this for this fight is all on AJ. It's not on Daniel. It's on AJ. Because a lot of people expect it to be I'm not saying a formality, but a lot of people fancy it to win. But I'm telling you something, I've seen AJ win fights and I've seen him lose fights, and I've seen him when he's been put on the back foot. And I believe Daniel has the tools and has the desire and has the wherewithal to make that happen. And I think he can stop him.
Boldly, Frank also issued a warning to Joshua saying, "Daniel Dubois is going to knock AJ out." Moving on to other boxing pros, it looks like everybody has something to say about the September 21st card, including Peter Fury, who also thinks that this will be a huge event with all the major promoters coming together with their fighters to finally give the fans what they have been yearning for. Peter commented that at the end of the day, it's all about the fighter and how they give a spectacular show for the public to remember.
They're running out of good fighters, and all good, fighters need to fight each other. So it's good that everybody's coming together and making these fights. Because ultimately, it's not about promoters, it's not about managers, it's not about trainers. It's about the fighter fighting other fighters, giving the best, so as the public can see the best.
Giving his take on who will win, Peter seemed to be on Team Joshua, contributing to his vast experience and sheer strength. Though, he still added that despite all these benefits, Dubois is not someone to underestimate, as he has grown a lot in these past fights and can prove to be a formidable opponent. He said, "I think it would be a good fight. If I had to pick one right now, I have to pick AJ based on experience, speed, and just that sheer experience at that level. But don't underestimate it. Daniel's been improving a lot." Being on the same page as Peter, Dave Coldwell also thinks that Anthony has the upper hand in this fight due to his supreme fighting style and overall knowledge of boxing. On the other hand, Dave also believes that Dubois has great punching power that can give Joshua a hard time, so making a clear prediction is not really possible in this case, as both fighters have their strengths and weaknesses. He stated, "Dubois against AJ is a good fight. I think AJ is a favorite, but Dubois hits hard enough to knock AJ out, so it means it's a really good fight that you really don't know who's going to win." He added, "AJ should win because he's a higher level elite, sort of fighter elite, an experienced fighter, and former two-time overweight champion. So I would imagine that AJ wins the fight, but it would be a fight that you can't blink in. It's going to be a brilliant one." As the anticipations for this fight increase, things seem to get hotter and more lethal between the fighters themselves, as just a few days ago during the press conference, both of them threw insults and jabs at one another. Dubois, in his shy style, did not hesitate to comment how he would be the one to dethrone Joshua and take his place on the top, to which Joshua remarked how he is not scared of anyone, and he is ready for this fight no matter how young the opponent is.
You know, AJ's been the king for a long time, and you know, we all know he's been the king for a very long time, and on the night I need to become a king slayer, and that's my goal, and that's the mission at hand, so I'm just ready to go.
So for this fight here with Daniel, it don't matter if I was 35 and he was 15, 20, 25, it don't matter. It's just a fight and I'm in peak condition. I feel good, I feel strong. So yeah, age is just a number in this one.
But the real drama started when Joshua and Dubois sat down with their promoters to give an exclusive interview. During this, the same taunts were thrown, but things got out of hand when Dubois took shots at Anthony, saying he is ready to fight him right now to show him that he is not intimidated in the least. Anthony, looking triggered by this comment, kept up to confront him, but any further escalation was stopped by the promoters. Later,
"You want to go now? Let's go.
Relax.
You want to go now?
Put this chair across your face. Don't disrespect
No, you can't intimidate
Don't
me.
disrespect
You can't
me.
intimidate me.
Don't disrespect
You can't intimidate me.
Daniel, don't
Who do you
disrespect
think you
me.
are?
Daniel, don't disrespect me. Can't put this chair across your face.
No,
Don't disrespect me on my life. I want this little boy. Don't disrespect me, bro. No, who the
Eddie Hearn shared his thoughts on Anthony and Dubois, almost coming to blows, and said that this was not a good move by Dubois, as Anthony is not one who tolerates such threats and out-of-the-pocket disrespect, so Dubois should consider himself lucky. He said, "I'll tell you what AJ was up to there. He wanted to get his hands on him and kill him on the spot because he's a bad motherfucker. And this is what you guys don't understand. Sometimes you think that sometimes AJ plays the great corporate game. He is a very nice man. He's an unbelievable ambassador, and he has time for everyone, but he's also a bad motherfucker that will take your head clean off at any moment." Amidst all this drama, Simon Jordan has given his prediction on the fight, saying that most probably it would be Anthony who wins, but at the same time Dubois can be undermined, as he has a powerful punching power, which has proved to be his strong point in his past fights, including the one with Filip Hrgović. He stated, "I give him a puncher chance because that's what he is known for. He's not particularly sophisticated, he's a bit of a brawler, but if he hits Anthony Joshua and detonates on him, then he'll knock him out. But Anthony now is a different fighter. He's regained his composure. He is technically quite good, and I think he's got the ability to overcome Daniel." On the other hand, Adam Smith, a notable boxing commentator, thinks that either Daniel or Joshua can come out victorious in the end. As for Dubois, he has had tremendous growth for someone who is only 26, despite people standing against him, and Anthony has always been a star athlete with remarkable boxing techniques, and he is someone who has shown everyone that he can bounce back from defeats, especially the one after the one with Usyk. Smith remarked, "I think Anthony has obviously had more experience of the big occasion especially. Could that be an important factor? He's fought at the higher level, and he's got to be the favorite going in. But write Daniel Dubois at your peril. He'll give everything he's got, and he can really hit, and he's got a lot of courage. So yeah, it's a fantastic main event, and it should be a night to remember in September." Meanwhile, Showbiz the Adult, also a boxing commentator, has made shocking claims that Anthony will most probably win with a knockout, because Dubois is slow-paced and not as aggressive as he should be against someone like Joshua, who is a master at timing his shots perfectly.
Dubois versus AJ, the problem with Dubois is this. Not just the fact that he gets caught over and over by the right hand, not just that, but also the way Dubois fights. Dubois gives you opportunities. Dubois shoots the jab and he works slow. Against AJ, you got to be aggressive either with crazy skill or aggressive with power. But you got to discourage AJ from letting his shit go. Dubois, all he does is give you the opportunity to let your shit go. Dubois starts with the jab, he works slow. He works slow. And AJ is so good at timing, he's gonna knock out Dubois. He's gonna knock out Dubois.
Looking at the stakes of this big fight, Big promoters other than Eddie and Frank have also stepped up to give their analysis of the fight, Kalle Sauerland and Spencer Fearon being notable ones. Kalle, not missing a beat, thinks that it would be Anthony who wins with a knockout nonetheless due to him being the superior fighter of the two. But still, Kalle emphasized that Dubois is a great emerging young boxer who has had good fights, but it just is not his time yet. He stated, "I've got to go AJ by knockout. I just think that Daniel gets hit. Daniel's a young man, he'll come back from that. And when I say Daniel gets hit by AJ by a knockout, I mean like a later knockout. I'm sure Daniel will have his moments. I just think that AJ, it's his time right now. And for me, it will be Daniel's time later. He's not quite there yet. That's my prediction." Spencer Fearon, however, thinks that it should not be even up for debate about who will win, as it is obvious that it would be Anthony Joshua. He started by pointing out the fact that Dubois is someone who is not good at defending himself, as we saw against the fight with Hrgović, and this can prove to be his downfall, because the new and skilled Anthony will take advantage of this, just like he did against Francis Ngannou. He stated, "I'm going to be real. You cannot be getting hit so frequently with right hands from Hrgović, who doesn't hit like Anthony Joshua, and now Anthony Joshua has been rejuvenated and believes in his punching power." Moving on, Spencer commented, "It's trouble. It's worrying in the dance. This fight could end similarly to what we saw when Anthony Joshua knocked out Francis Ngannou." Spencer also believes that for a younger fighter like Dubois, the huge English crowd at Wembley can be quite intimidating, as in recent months, Anthony Joshua has become somewhat of a hero and ideal for many back home, which can provide him strength in this upcoming event. He also believes that despite all the odds, there is a very slim chance of Dubois winning this fight, because in the end, everything seems to favor Joshua.
Let's see how Daniel Dubois deals with this occasion, or deals with coming out and seeing 90,000 people. Right, and the 90,000 people are going to go Anthony Joshua, I guarantee it, because Anthony Joshua now has got the British public back on his side. I wish Daniel Dubois all the best, but I can't see him winning. I can't see him beating. Anyway, right now, in my mind, for this segment of a world title, right, and Anthony Joshua becoming the potentiality of becoming a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, everything's in his favor. It's not.
Knowing the importance of this fight, Joshua was recently seen training and sparring to improve himself and to stay in his best form. Known for his immaculate timing and speed, Anthony is someone who can knock you out even before you see him coming, and also has the ability to land solid punches that throw his opponents off their feet, just like what he did with Francis and Robert Helenius. Dubois, though new to the game, is also a formidable fighter with his strong points. Known for being a hard hitter, he is someone who may move slowly, but when his blows land like a sledgehammer, they may end up destroying his enemy's defense. After getting criticized for having a weak defense and getting too many hits, especially after the Hrgović fight, Dubois' trainer Don Charles has stepped forward to clear the air, saying that this is something that they have discussed and are currently working on. He also emphasized that this claim about Dubois having no chance is not always true, and that the one throwing the right-hand jabs wins, because during that process they are left vulnerable, which can be used against Joshua by Dubois. He said, "We're not ignorant. We're aware of it that he took far too many right hands against Hrgović. That was not the plan, and we will rectify that going into the Joshua fight." He added, "If people are going to hang on to that he is going to get knocked out by AJ because he's leaking right hands, may I remind the audience and the experts that in boxing when you're going to throw your right hand, you're also in danger of being hit with a right hand yourself." Throwing shade at the critics and all those hating on Dubois, Don also stated that he is aware of these shortcomings, but Dubois will show everyone on September 21st that he is not someone who can be bullied and has made improvements during his training camp. Don added, "Let them keep doubting us, that gives us fuel." Meanwhile, Anthony's trainer, Ben Davison, believes that this will be an easy fight for Anthony to win, as he is someone who is always focused on the end goal and always sticks to the game plan that is given to him. Ben stated how in the end, it doesn't matter who Anthony is up against. Most of the time he is able to adapt, which keeps his opponents on their toes. Ben remarked, "When you say what it is that we do, it's just having a game plan. He understands to go in and execute. He's phenomenal at executing that, and I feel like there is very little room for error when you're fighting Anthony Joshua." Talking about Dubois, Ben made a bold claim that Anthony would be able to knock out Dubois early on in the fight, relying on the fact that he is the bigger and more skilled fighter in this fight. Not being disrespectful to Daniel, Ben stated that this is not a good match for him skill-wise, as all his weaknesses and also somewhat his strengths are complementary to Anthony's tactics. He said, "If I'm being honest, preparing properly and getting about to fight the right way, I wouldn't be shocked if AJ knocked him out quite early. He then stated, "That's no disrespect to Daniel, I think he's a good fighter. I am just being honest, I think his weakness will play into Anthony Joshua's hands, but more importantly, I actually think his strengths play into AJ's hands as well, so I just think it's not a good style matchup." So that's it for today, folks. Just like always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below.